Hello there, and a very warm welcome to the France Buying Guide's YouTube presentation. Firstly, I hope you'll forgive the activity going on around me. We're continuing with our house renovation as I speak. Now this week it's a little bit about communication. This is so important. When you come to France, you'll want to integrate. Your life will be far richer if you can communicate with people, even if it's a simple conversation at first. We would all be isolated if we didn't communicate with our fellow human beings. And if you follow my few tips here, you'll be able to get off to a fine start. Now, the first thing is, I think, to immerse yourself in French and steer away, if you can, at the beginning from the English crowd. There are plenty of English people now all over France, and whilst it's lovely to have English friends here, it's still great to be able to have French friends too and start to communicate with them in their language. Even if your French is a little rusty, don't be shy, because by speaking it as much as you can, as well as you can, you will learn as you listen and repeat, and you'll hear new words each time you speak to somebody in French. Also, try and speak and also write some French every day. That will really reap rewards. You could even perhaps set up a conversation exchange with somebody. You might find, for example, a French person who's wanting to learn English. And you could correspond, you trying to write in French and them in English, and correct each other as you go along. You'll also find in rural France plenty of adverts for classes, college classes, or indeed private people who are willing to teach perhaps once a week. That's quite a good idea too, because it gives you structure and it can be encouraging to have fixed time to go and learn. Another tip is to listen to French TV and radio. I still listen to the radio in the car all the time. I listen to talk shows. And even if you don't understand everything, the chances are as you go along, if you keep at it, you will get the gist of something. And then if you didn't know, for example, a couple of words, you'll eventually think, yes, that must mean that because of the sense of the sentence. Again, as I say, don't be shy. If you make mistakes, nobody minds. The French actually like hearing their language spoken, much so it's a surprise, with an English accent. When our friend Trevor came here and my husband, Mr. Fix, introduced him to our friend at the bar, he said in French, this is our friend, but instead of the word for friend, he used the word amant, which actually means lover. He meant to say ami instead of, but he said amant. So that brought gales of laughter from everybody. Nobody really minds the mistake of making a mistake. Another thing is to try and combine language with culture. You'll be able to find lots of markets, museums and historical monuments here. And if you tune your ear to the language around you, listen to people talking, that's another way that you'll learn. After all, that's really how you learn your first language, by listening and by repeating. Another thing you can do is to read or look at certainly French magazines and newspapers, but also children's books. You'll find in every supermarket there are lots of books, for example, Asterix and Tintin and other books for, say, a 5-year-old. If your French is a little rusty but you know a bit, that's quite a good way to sort of get a bit better at it in a quite an enjoyable way. If you carry around with you a little dictionary as well, you can always look up words that you hear and have a little notebook with you and build up your vocabulary that way. There are plenty of language learning CDs around where you can listen and repeat. That's always a good thing if you're quite okay about working on your own. But finally, remember that it's really good for you. It's good for your brain to learn a new language. Okay, you may not be able to start discussing quantum physics in a week, but as I say, communication is so important, and with all those little tips of basically immersing yourself in it and not giving up, you will find that you'll make an improvement. That's my top tip for today. So I hope this finds you well. Do send me any questions or any comments that you have on this site. I'll be really happy to talk about anything that you'd like me to talk about. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.